Hello and greetings. I hope you're doing well. In this section, we're going to talk about exporting our files from apps like Revit, 3D Max, SketchUp, and Rhino. And we're going to practice how to import something from them into Lumion app. In fact, besides the objects that we observed from the last session, which we're going to talk about them more later on, the most important thing for us is to prepare our sample files in the apps that we know about them and just work with them and export from them and then import them into Lumion app. In fact, our app, Lumion app, doesn't have modeling ability to create models for itself. And we mentioned this before, we have to import our models or sample files into this app. We can use the objects, preset objects in here for our projects inside of a house or outside in a landscape, but it doesn't have modeling ability, and we're going to work on lighting, the materialization, and finally rendering and animation. In the first step, I'm going to give you a list about some apps,
and we talk about their exporting process and their rendering process, and then we practice them all and we import one of those sample files into Lumion app, and we practice materialization and putting object on them. For example, we go to Lumion website. We have this section here, import and export plugin downloads. You see that there are different plugins for different apps in here. For example, for ArchiCAD, Revit, Rhino, and SketchUp, and so on. And we see that there is nothing here for 3D Max. There are no specific items here for that matter. In 3D Max, we can have FBX exports easily and then transfer our work. And we also can do these other things from these other apps, for example, Rhino. But this live sync option can boost our project and make it easier. We come here and we open up each of one of these and then we talk through them. First of all, we go for live sync for Rhino. It says that your Rhino app must be above 6.10, and if you have Rhino 7, before you install it, go to this folder right here and then delete live sync. Well, I click on that link and we go to Food for Rhino website, and after we went there, we click on the download section here, and there is a file with RHI suffix downloaded here, and I installed that file. And it says that you must have Rhino above 6 or above 7. In that case, you can install this package. And then just remember that you have to close your Rhino app and then open it again. I had to mention it. I close this and we go to our Rhino project. Okay, we just have to wait a few seconds for the app to open up. Okay, after we opened up our project and we saw our model, there are things that we should do. The first thing I should do, I click on command cell curve. I can choose and select these lines here, and I can remove them and put them into different layers, and for example, change them. And then we click on F3 button, and then we can see we have a panel for our different layers. You can see them now. So we could use them for our project. Okay, for each different part and for their materialization, I have to create a separated material in this panel. Okay, let's do this step by step. Let's talk about exporting process. We have Lumion app right here. and we can observe our Rhino file right here, and I command purge, and extra matters and extra like layers and things like that, we delete them first, and then we save our file. It's gonna make our project a little bit lighter, and we prepare it to transfer it to Lumion app. After we did it, we go to this section on the top of the screen. You see Lumion. I click on that option, and as you can see, there is this live sync on an option, and we click on it. Well, obviously we have to wait for a few seconds. Okay, and then we're gonna be seeing everything in here into Lumion app. And obviously whatever we do in Rhino, that's gonna happen in Lumion app. That's gonna be added into Lumion app by itself. Well, after we saw this writing here, live sync started, and then to make our project easier, we drag this right panel here. We drag Rhino to the left part of the screen, and we drag Lumion to the right part of the screen. This is gonna be in this way, as you can observe it. Okay, with this option here, select option, and choosing the point over there for the base point, I can select my file here, the added file from Rhino, and then we click on move vertical, and we bring it up a little bit. After we moved it up a little bit, we can have a closer look to our project right here. Now, the first thing we should do to separate its materials. Okay, in the Rhino app, we separate our different materials into different layers. So we could give our object a certain material. Just wait a second. Okay, for example, we come to this section, this part, like in this environment. You see that all these parts and objects are known by one same material. And well, probably it must not be in this way. So to reform it, so in this section, I think we're gonna have a pool here. So we have to bring our projects a bit higher. Now we can see our pool here. And make sure it's in the right position so you could observe all parts of your project. I could choose one of the views, like for example my front view here, and move my lowest point and bring it up on 0, section with this move command. And simply we're just gonna type 0 here. The project moves our objects in certain fields. We're not gonna do that because we did it manually. I click on F3 button, and then we go to material section in this panel. And to separate our materials, for example, this section one material and the other section another material, we just have to make a custom material in that section. And the color and the texture right here is not that much important. I just set a random color here just so we could have a better separation. And I drag my material. If I hold Ctrl, Alt, and R buttons, it's gonna prepare the preview of our project from Lumion to Rhino, and it's gonna show us the material that we have dragged it into this app. In this way, we hold Ctrl, Alt, and S, and we get back to shaded position. And in this section, I can select different materials. Okay, and the different names are just enough for us. Okay, we drag it back to the left part of the screen. And I perform this box command right here in this section. And I demonstrate you this live sync action. As you can see, I create a cube in there, and another cube is created in that section simultaneously. Well, I delete my cube, and as you can see, our cube in this section is also deleted. Okay, we go to content library, and in nature section, we click on place option, and there are number of trees, like in the section of palms. I want to set some of these trees in my environment. I choose one of them, for example, this type of tree, and maybe with this height. We come here and we put them into layer 3. We double click on it, and then we change the name to tree. And I start placing my trees inside my environment. E button for going down and changing the view. Okay, we go a little bit closer to have a better look, and we place some trees in here. And as you can see, we place them in different sizes. Okay, we change our view and we place some other trees in here. Maybe a few other trees in this part, as you can see. And maybe in this area, which is open, I may place a group of trees or vegetations. Maybe plants or vegetations like this to give our environment a better look. For example, like this, we set it like this. Okay, and let's change our view and take a look from other aspects. And as you can see that in background we have some trees and vegetation, which is gonna make it look better. We get back to place section. We don't want to use this, so we delete it. And we come to this section and we choose other types of trees. And we're gonna make a line in here, so we could put them in a line. After we set the line, we change the number of the trees, and we randomize their directions, their distance, and their offsets. Let's just move this line a little bit further. Now we change the number of trees, and then we confirm it. And then we hit the select option. And as you can see, our background view is closed with different trees. And there are some items here that we necessarily don't need them. We get back to Rhino. And as you can see, when we change the view in Rhino, our view is changed in Lumion, and when we delete them, they're also deleted in Lumion. Okay, we deleted our unwanted objects, and we go back to our Lumion section to continue with the project. Okay, in this section we may want to add some furniture such as tables and maybe some chairs. Okay, we go to content library and then we choose objects. And in that case, we can use some preset objects here, like the tables and these chairs. Okay, we go to seating sections, and we may consider such a puff, such a object for our pool. We get back to our other sections. For example, in our garden section, right here in this page, for example, we may want to add some of these umbrellas here. Well, I select them and then I can set it next to the pool. And as you can see, you can set different types of these umbrellas next to your pool. You can test them. Just let's zoom in a little bit. And then you can choose the best model for yourself, what is probably good for your environment. This one right here is good for us. And we may want to change the size of it. We click on scale. We may want to make it bigger or smaller. We made it a little smaller. As you can see, we can rotate it in other directions, or we may want to replace it. And we're probably going to use horizontal movement. And we get back to play section right now. In garden section, we want to look, do we need anything else? We get back to our, sorry for that. We get back to our seating sections. For example, we may want to use these bags here for sitting, or maybe these specific chairs. As you can see, we put one of these chairs right here under this umbrella, one in here and another one in this place. Well, we might want to change the place of the chairs and put it in front of each other. First of all, we change the position, and then we rotate the chair just like this. And we're probably gonna place a table or something else. So we come to this section. For example, we choose this specific table and we place it right here. Okay, here it is, and we moved our chairs a little bit so it's just right in front of our table. We click on E button and we come a little bit closer, and we make more accurate distance here for a better view. Okay, and that is enough for putting our objects in this section. That's just enough. And let's talk about the materials in other positions. Let's totally talk about materials. Okay, the first section was content library, and this section is materials. By clicking on different objects, as you can see, I can change its material. I can click on it and I can select it and then change the material. Okay, for this place, as you can see, the glass section here, well, I click on it, and as you can see, there are a few options here. There's various option, indoor option, and outdoor option. And in this section, we choose outdoor, and then we're gonna be choosing glass section. And as you can see, there are different types of glasses here. Maybe different glasses with different textures, probably with different colors. Well, we choose one of these glasses. For example, we choose a pure glass with maybe a blue color, and we might want to change this glass. You can double click on it and you will have the access for the glass setting. In the first section, I can change its color. As you can see, that's just so simple. Maybe color blue, maybe pink, maybe orange, or something else. And you can just simply change that color. And in the second section, we can set and change our reflectivity. As you can see, it's completely reflecting or maybe no reflecting at all. And there is this internal reflections for inside of the house, and we can lower it down or increase it. Okay, in our indoor environment, or the environment that we created right now, there are no specific objects in there. It's empty and we don't want to see the inside of the house. And I can just lower the transparency option here. I can blur the inside of the house with lowering the transparency option. And as you can see, inside of the house is not visible anymore. This option, I can change my glasses into something completely blurred. We could work with glossiness. It's gonna be more clear when it is exposed to light, and few other options. And when we had our options confirmed, we can click on Save Changes section right here. I save that and we decide to change it again. Then we click on it and we want to see our materials. We click on Material section here. And for example, we say we want to choose this type of material for our outdoor. Okay. For example, for the next thing, we want to change our water. As you can see, it has its own material and we can change its color. And in this part, you can change the wave height. And as you can see, when we put the scale on 0, it becomes like a flat mirror. And when we increase it, it is like there are so many waves inside it, like pulse of waves. And in this section, you can see we can change the wave scale itself, not the height of it. As you can see, they're smaller or bigger. And I think that depends on your water. Is it a pool or is it a lake? Is it a river or is it the sea? And definitely the bigger the water is, the bigger the waves are. And in this section, we can change the glossiness of water. We decrease our wave scale a little bit. And when we decrease the glossiness, as you can see, there are no reflection for the light. But when we increase it, you can see it has a better reflection to the sunlight. And as you can see, there is this option here, foam. When we increase it, we have a fabric of foam on our surface of water. It's clear right there. And here we can change the reflectivity of water, as you can see. And as you can observe it yourself, we can see the lights up watercolor option in this section. When it's on 0, it's a dark water, or when it's on 10, it's brighter. I think here is just fine. Okay, now we save it. We go up a little bit so we could change our view. The next part that we want to change its material, for example, it could be these frames right here in this section over the window. Okay, we zoom in and we click on Windows frames. Okay, we choose outdoor section and we choose metal option. As you can see, we will choose one of these features here. We'll probably want to keep it simple, a very simple material for the frames. And as you can see, we will not probably use these complicated materials here. We'll just keep it simple. We will go through different pages and we can observe different materials. As you can see, we can change their colors and change their features. And I don't think we probably need it yet. We will choose one of the simple materials among all of these. Okay, when we talk about metal material, because we're going to use them, we can have some other materials in indoor section. So we can use these metals too. We have different materials in indoor, additionally beside outdoor, but I think it's better to choose from outdoor section. And for example, we choose this metal and we want to change it. We double click on it and we may want to decrease the reflectivity here a bit, or maybe we can change its color. Okay, we don't need it yet. We keep it black. And in order to see the color, we have to increase the colorization option like this, and you can see that's okay. The next section that I want to talk about and change its material is going to be our floors material. Okay, for example, we want to change this floor to, for example, rock, like one of these materials. So we go further a little, and we may want to have this stone flooring right here. Or we go to outdoor section and we go to the stone section, and we will probably choose one of these floorings stones here. I choose to have a disciplined, organized flooring. And for example, we change it to this particular covering. Alright, you can change your material based on your own favorite options, or maybe what you need in your project. Now, whatever you wanted to choose for your floor, you may want to change its features. For example, we want to change its color. For example, a red color, and we'll change the colorization option, or another color, and as you can see, you can decrease or increase colorization option. So it's based on what you need or what you like. Or you may want to change the scale of these designs here. What you can do is you can decrease or increase these map scale options right here in this section. Okay, after we had our changes done, we save our changes and we will continue with our next material. Okay, we double click on it and we go to outdoor section, and for example we go to concrete section, and for example we may want to choose this type of concrete with no specific design on it. For example, this simple concrete. And for this piece of metal up right here, we click on it, we go to outdoor section and we go to metals, and this time we're gonna choose a color which is different a bit. For example, this blue metal right here, as you can see, or maybe this red one right here. You can change it to different colors, what you like, or you might find a very good sample out of it. Okay, we set it on this color, and let's continue with our project. And here we have another section for the material, and I can click on it, and then we go to outdoor section, and then we choose concrete, and we will use one of these tiled concretes right here. Or we may want to go to a stone section, or we can go to stone section and we can change it to something different with this part, or we can go to brick section right here. We may find a very good sample out of them. We look through it so we could find a good sample for our floor covering. As you can see, we can choose different materials for them. Okay, let's check this various section too. For example, this rock section here. Okay, they're not good samples here. We go to outdoor again, and in stone section, and for example we choose this material here for our floor, as you can see that. And maybe I'll change this section here. For example, we get back to material library, and in stone section we choose this kind of texture for this area. And for this part, our water, we just change its feature. We go to material library, and for example we go to water section. It can give me different waters with different colors, with different waves on it, and different textures. And for example, you use one of these things and you didn't like it, and you want to get back to the previous material, you're gonna cancel this right in this section. As you can see, it doesn't change your material. Okay, let's go to this section. For example, let's work on this a garage shutter. Okay, we may want to change its color to gray. I click on it and we go to color section, and well, for example, we choose this type of gray for our garage shutter, and we could go to outdoor section and we could choose these metals for it. You can see different textures. For example, this door is rusty a little, and that depends on what you need for your project. And also we can choose one of those indoor options. As you can see, there are different textures here too. Excuse me for a second. We can go to outdoor section and we can choose this metal right here for our door, and we choose this one and we confirm it. And for this part right here, alright, we will change the light later, and then we will decide something for that. Okay, let's go to this section and change material for this area. And for this section, the whole wall around our project, we go to outdoor section and we choose concrete, and we will choose one of these features here, and we want to keep it simple with the colors. As you can see here, I'm keeping the colors simple, maybe a bit neutral, and probably something comprehensive. And let's change our view just like this. And let's talk about another material right here, and we will finish our project. Right here we have this sand material. We could go to various section and in this soil part, and we're gonna choose one of these grounds here, and simply we choose one of these grounds for the environment. And for these parts that are not part of the sand, they're just an error in our modeling process. Okay, let's change our screen and let's go to the other app. And as you can see, we had a wall here, and this wall reaches the surface on the floor here. Either my floor must have a thickness, and now we click on this blue circle on this blue arrow right here, and we give 5 centimeter thickness to our walls, just like this. We type it in here, or maybe more, like 25 centimeters. And when we do that, we go to Lumion app and we see that those parts that are winking, they're completely gone. And this is the process to deal with the project step by step. And let's show you something else in here. We have Lumion open here, and we go to Rhino, and we go to this section and we draw a cube for our environment right here, and another cube next to it. And for example, we can put them into different layers like our house layer, or we can create another new layer for our environment. And I select these 2 new cubes and I right click on our new layer, and then we click on change object layer here. And with this split command in the command section, and with the split face command, we cut our cube into different parts, and we drag this part and we make it bigger a little bit. And right now I want to have a material for this left object and another material for the right cube. And as you can see, when we click on it and we decide to change its material, for example this brick material here, maybe a brick that is a little bit bigger so it's easier to observe, they both change. And in order to prevent that, we said that we go to material section and we assign a whole new material for each one of them. And right now we wait a second to confirm that. And now let's
check them again and reassess them. And we come to this section again and we create a whole new material, and we change nothing, we just change their names. And then we drag custom 1 to this object and custom 2 to our right cube. And right now when we click on the left cube, when we click on different material, only the left cube changes. And as you can see, these materials only apply on the right cube. Simple as that. I can separate my materials into different objects. And of course, the better way is to just organize my objects and put my different objects like the stones and the glass into different layers, and then apply a new different material for each one of them. And as you can see, these separation in layers can separate our layers. As you can see, I didn't change any material. Different layers have their own different material. Okay, we save this project for now, and in the next video we're gonna talk about file transfer from SketchUp to Lumion.